Okay, welcome to game 2 of the series. Again, Dbmb versus Giap. This time the map is going to be Angoville. Dbmb playing as US forces in the south, Giap playing as Ostheer in the north. Now, we saw a pretty brutal stomp in game 1. 495 points left for Giap at the end of game 1, so he's off to a very strong start. But against Jezelin, Dbmb also lost game 1. It wasn't a stomp. It was about a 40-minute game. But Jezelin won, and then Dbmb sort of reacted and adapted to what his opponent had done throughout the rest of the series to come back and win. So I'm wondering if he's going to adapt to his opponent mid-series here, see if he can figure something out, figure out a better strategy. Since the factions are switched, he'll have some time to think about how to better play his axis against Giap's allies when Game 3 does come around. Until then, Game 2. Dbmb playing as Rifle Company US forces and Giap fielding assault support, mechanized assault, and lightning war. You're going to see a pretty typical opening from Dbmb going left to back cap with rear echelons and sending riflemen hard right. Giap also going with a double grenadier opening for now and floating a little bit while he thinks about what his third, there he goes, machine gun. Pios having this building will force Dbmb to retreat right there. Wasn't sure exactly how much forces his opponent had fielded to the right side. Now he knows that it's at least 2 squads of grenadiers and a Pios over here. He might lose building control. That might not be good. Grenadiers just jumped into his cutoff building, although he does have vet riflemen with which to force this out. He doesn't have very great anti-building yet, because he's not going to be a 3C piece for quite a while. He should try to maintain building control himself. Giap, fortunately, will get brute forced out of the building right there by riflemen at close range. He'll reposition his grenadiers into green cover by this truck. And this squad of riflemen will leave the engagement, heading straight north to try and set up a cutoff, maybe get some building control up here. This squad simply hiding behind this building.
MG42 team is ready for action.
Riflemen jumping into this building. Riflemen here, again behind the tractor. Grenadiers inside of this building won't last forever. That squad just dropped a model. Pios over here and MG42 are going to hold onto the fuel. Rear echelon troops continue to take territory over here, picking up this easy point before maybe trying to be a little more aggressive. And another MG42 from Giap is positioned kind of poorly against the riflemen in this building. They're going to drop some models because of the weird positioning of the support guys. 2 of them go down before they reposition to a more beneficial location. A little bit of wire right here to make it difficult to take this fuel point. Machine gun's going to reposition. Kind of poorly timed on the repositioning right there. Riflemen just walk right by for free because of that little maneuver he just did. Dbmb's not going to make a play for the fuel just yet, just hiding behind these hedges. Here comes the second squad. He's gonna go in now. One squad gets suppressed and the other one will circle around behind. Pios are available to prevent this flank. Riflemen have to choose to fight the Pios or the MG. They're going to focus fire on the MG first. This second squad of riflemen moving to overwhelm this position should definitely be the engagement one for Dbmb. Machine gun wiped and stolen. Flamethrower he was upgrading a flamethrower during that. It was too late to win the engagement though. And Dbmb will get out of that engagement with a stolen MG. But probably, maybe not. I don't know, the engagement's not really over. Those 2 squads retreating. Another rifle squad moves from this flank to put pressure on that machine gun and force this retreat. That squad of riflemen will probably have to retreat away from these Grens. I don't know if this Gren squad can hold off both squads of these riflemen. There's one retreat. They may be able to hold the fuel. Those riflemen chose to chase that machine gun rather than put pressure on that grenadier squad right there. And Giap will hold onto his fuel for a little longer. He also, wow, what happened over here? Makes a really deep cutoff maneuver to take control of this cutoff point, but it doesn't really cut anything off since since DBMB does hold that. Riflemen jump into the building over here against Grenadiers, which are forced out of their green cover into this capture circle to get that fuel coming back in for Giap. And DBMB is sending a pretty large blob left to try and wipe that squad. I think it's going to get away, maybe. It had really low health. I don't even know how it got so low. That might be a wipe. Almost. Slightly better RNG for DBMB, and that would have been a dead Grenadier squad, I think. Ambulance on the field for DBMB now, and he's gone 4 riflemen plus his stolen MG. No officer yet. Not sure if he's going to go lieutenant for M20 or AA half-track, or captain for bazookas and protection against potentially a 221 from Giap. There's another forced retreat.
The enemy has driven a wedge in our lines.
DBMB is performing a lot better in this game than he was in game 1. In fact, he's still ahead on VPs. If he loses one more VP, it'll be even. If he wins with 496 VPs, then he'll be in the VP lead. But he has to lose 0 VPs this game from this point forward to be in the lead. Squad's reinforcing here in the base. MG42 trying to pin down those Grenadiers. They've got it in position a little bit. Rifleman grabbing the right side fuel and munitions, and DBMB has Giap on the ropes. He really does. No faction or no commander selection from Giap yet, though. He does have access to assault support, mechanized assault, lightning war. He doesn't really have anything that can save him yet. Maybe a mechanized assault group from mechanized assault. Nothing from assault group. Okay, there's mechanized assault. So maybe mechanized assault group as he makes his way to 3 CPs. Put a little bit of more pressure on these riflemen with their Panzer Grenadiers inside. Still no officer. There it is, captain. Going captain. There's a 221 as well, so captain's probably the right choice. Makes sense. He hasn't really felt a need for any lieutenant tier light vehicles to put pressure on his opponent. He's doing fine with just riflemen. The 221 is going to try and put pressure on these riflemen. He's going to let those riflemen fire the AT grenade. Made no attempt to dodge since he knows there's nothing here that can finish him off. Dbmb will simply damage its engine to prevent it from chasing him down on retreat, but it may not matter. This could be a nice pickup by Giap right here. Bit of an overextension by those rifles. They might get away. Both players at this point have gotten some lucky RNG. Squad escaping with just a tiny sliver of health. No wipes yet this game. 8 minutes in and no wipes, whereas there were quite a few early wipes in game 1. Which might help to explain why DBMB fell behind so quick. Oh, just kidding, there actually has been an MG stolen, so that does make a very dramatic impact. Whoever loses the first squad, just look what color the map turns. Not to mention, of course, being allies gives you that really strong early pressure. US forces versus Terra in particular. You see these effects, so that's pretty typical. But losing that machine gun makes things even worse. Could be another wipe right here. Maybe gonna chase. Does it have to chase? Wow, gets away by a sliver. There's the AT grenade from one rifle squad, but this one can't get in range in time. And I don't think that these flamethrowers can win this. I don't know, I can't tell. There's a flamethrower, 2 grenadier squads, and an autocannon firing. That rifle squad has to retreat soon. Flamethrower pilots retreat first, though. It's kind of a close engagement. Meanwhile, MG42, they're just engaging each other between the houses. It looks like this engagement might go to Dbmb. There goes that Grenadier squad. No LMGs on any of these Grenadiers. And now the Riflemen see an opening to maybe hunt down and kill that autocannon scout car, which is just not doing quite enough damage during this engagement. I think this thing might go down. Dbmb is kind of gambling a little bit on that extremely low health rifle squad. Why won't that AT grenade go off? He needs to manually get into closer range. And there's a retreat rather than trying to finish it off. There's a captain available here to maybe seal the deal. Squad of Grenadiers retreating from this engagement. Captain does not move to finish off that scout car though, and it looks like it's going to get away. I can't believe Dbmb is going to let that go. But maybe he doesn't really need to chase. He'd rather just make sure he doesn't lose any squads, I guess. Because look at his map control right now. He's got a triple cap. And on Angleville, that's not very easy. It's not as hard as Langurskaya, but still. It's clearly possible, at least. MG, or major retreat point set up here behind the cutoff house is going to reinforce the stolen MG, get some healing on a few rifle squads, and his huge lead continues. Giap nowhere near any kind of tech of anything. Has no fuel coming in, no territory at all. He's going to spread 2 squads of grenadiers left somewhat desperately.
Pioneers ready for anything!
The sector has been cut off.
It's done. Grenadiers under fire!
We're taking fire! We are losing a sector. It is ours.
Promoted! I guess we had a Hellschmerzen.
Rear echelon troops taking control of this last strategic point right here on the right side. Flamethrower trying to put pressure on the captain, push him off the map. These 2 flamethrower squads move up towards the cutoff, but they are walking into the arc fire of a machine gun. No grenade tech from Dbmb yet, so he can't get smoke grenades, and that's because he's rushing a Sherman. Sherman is in production now, and once that hits the field, there's a pretty good chance that this is going to be GG, and it looks like Dbmb will pull ahead in this series by 1 victory
The
point.
enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
1 victory point, maybe. Unless Giap can turn things around, but so far it doesn't look like there's any way of him to do for him to do that. Everything he sent left is going to get forced back into the base by these riflemen.
We will now call in Model E assault guns, Commander.
Giap has access to the Stug E right now, which is great and everything. But if he fields it with only +4 fuel coming in, actually he doesn't have access to it. He doesn't have access to it for another 2 full minutes at his current income, and he's struggling just to get 1 strategic point under his control.
Flammenwerfer! Scatter!
That's everyone. Grenadiers ready. We have it.
Takes 1 strategic point to give him precious fuel for just trying to make it to a Stug E. Man, Dbmb struggled as Oster last game, but he didn't struggle this much. He at least was able to get a Stug E onto the field. There's the Sherman.
Our lines of supply are disrupted.
Dbmb now owns literally the entire map.
That's it! Fully reinforced!
Giap is going to send all forces right. That's the nearest victory point. If he's going to slow down the clock and hope to win an engagement, that's his best bet. He has 1 AT gun with which to protect himself against this Sherman, which is not revealing itself yet. Gonna wait for that AT gun to reveal itself. White phosphorus just got dropped on everything. Giap's just gonna be stalled, further delayed, pushed back into his base. Finally 75 fuel. Finally. If he drops it on that Stug E,
Sturmgeschütz is ready for use.
he'll maybe be able to kill some flamethrower riflemen, but there's a captain and a Sherman on the field. And Dbmb does not have to attack at all. Giap does. Dbmb can sit very comfortably on this territory with massive income. He even had so much extra manpower he could throw down a fuel cache.
Ready for orders. Sturmgeschütz version E is ready to deploy.
Now he's going to make an attempt for the slightly farther away victory point over here, which of course, since he has nothing on the right, leaves him extremely vulnerable to being flanked from around this hedge if he overextends. He's going to have to make a very slow and steady advance. Stug E is trying to do just that, taking shots at the captain. The terrain is making this difficult though. He keeps hitting the hill and the trees, and he's already forced back for repairs. He does get a lucky flamethrower pop right there. Gets a little bit of lucky RNG. I don't know if that's going to save this game though. He still doesn't have this cutoff. Or the victory point over here on the left, falling down to about 142 VPs. Sherman circling around to look for an opportunity.
Territory secured.
The new Grenadier squad is ready.
Engine damage on the Sherman. AT gun is in position to put a little pressure on it. It's well out of range though. It'll be probably fine. Needs to apply some duct tape. I don't think Giap can safely extend those AT guns to snipe that Sherman without getting flamethrowered to death. One squad of Grenadiers is heading right to maybe give him a little bit more resource income. He's not in a comfortable position right now. He has just a tiny little bit of territory and is way behind. Way behind.
Sector. Light artillery barrage ready to launch. The enemy is attempting to
Flamethrower
steal
leaves
our
the
sector.
building. 222 continues to work the right side with Stug's support, and Dbmb is just taking back control of the entire left easily, forcing back a few team weapons with no real difficulty at all.
Assault gun standing by.
Stug tries to rotate towards that front. It better not take engine damage right here.
To 75.
Oh, I think it just took engine damage. I think it'll be okay though.
Grenadier squad.
I think it'll be okay. Maybe. I don't know. It needs to stop rotating and keep driving. It might go down here. Oh my god, it's gonna go down just to the captain. Just to the captain and rifleman. It didn't even need tank support. I think that's GG. Yes, it is. That is GG, and Dbmb takes game 1 with 496 victory points. 1 victory point more than Giap had in game 1. So far, Oster is getting destroyed in the finals. Let's see what happens in game 3. It's currently 1-1, and we're going to go back into the map veto process. Looks like pretty standard vetoes this time. Kolodny Ferma Summer is the map that they have decided on. And going into game 3. I need to make a cool video for every one of the maps in my tournament map pools, and then the one that it gets whittled down to, that's like the map in the background. How cool would that be? And I could like switch on a Kolodny Pharma Summer video. Next Starcross Cup. Gotta boost the production value.